And credit to the coaches, they've been able to develop us as a team, bring us together. Then we had 3 pretty tough games against really good opponents on our way here to the final. Ballymena, Sullivan and Methody, where they all kept us pretty close. But I'm really pleased we've had those opportunities because we've really come together as a team and been able to learn from those and move on.
You know, it's been 6 years I think since we last won it, so there's a bit of pressure, but I'm sure that won't affect us on the day. You know, preparations are on place, just a bit of fine tuning now and just a waiting game until we can actually get on the pitch and play.
You can almost sense the tension there. Tell us a little bit about the two teams, what we should expect.
Well, you know, you look at the semi-finals, they both were the top teams in terms of they dominated the games in the second half and scored some great tries. They've both got players within their teams that are real game breakers and real game changers. So I think, you know, that's going to be incredibly exciting for everybody to see. But I really do feel it's going to be a tight affair. They're two really close teams.
Is it me or are these guys getting bigger every year?
I think we're just getting smaller, Gav. Yeah, there's some big lads, but you know, they're in a program, really good program within their schools, and they'll be well looked after.
And some of these boys representative with Ireland at this point already.
That's right. So you've got Jacob Boyd, you've got Bryn Ward, and you've got Lucas Kenny that are all under 19 Irish this year, and you know, they'll hopefully go on and produce a really good display today. And you know, you've also got Flynn Longstaff in the mix there, who will be up against Jacob, so there'll be a bit of spice in the front row.
The word on the street is it's going to be tight. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a huge amount of difference between the two teams. They both got, like I said before, they both got good game breakers that potentially can add some spice into the game. But I think they're two very well coached teams. They're two schools with excellent tradition within the Schools Cup, and they'll be wanting to go back to their schools as winners.
Yeah, conditions today, how do you think they'll play their part? It's actually calmed down a little bit, but you know, we got a bit of a shower a minute ago.
It's freezing. I wouldn't want to be playing in this.
It's a soft Belfast day.
Yeah, sorry. I am a soft southerner. So, yeah, you know, I think once the game gets going, I think the conditions are okay. They'll be fine. It'll be a bit slippy, so we might see a few mistakes and a few errors, but you'd hope to see that in schoolboy rugby anyway, so all good.
What do you think will be being said in these final few moments? Are these important moments for the coaches, for the players?
Yeah, you know, what I'd like them to be saying is just relax, fellas, go and enjoy that. Go and enjoy the experience and the atmosphere, and go and enjoy playing rugby with your best mates and see how well you can do. You know, challenge yourselves. I think the time for the coaches is done. They've done all the hard work, and it's now over to the players.
It feels like a Kingspan Ulster Friday night vibe about it. As preparation goes for a professional career, what's this day like?
I think when, you know, having never played in the Schools Cup final and you know, to have this sort of game in amongst your armoury when you go into the pro game, I think it's really important. It gives you a very good base, a good standing to understand what it's like to play in a big crowd, what it's like to play in a large stadium, and this will go on and give them plenty of strengths.
And I suppose the thing about Northern Ireland as well, these are big days for these boys. They'll be talking about this in 50 years' time.
Oh my goodness!
Win or lose.
Yes, oh, absolutely. All draw. Listen, having been married to a good Belfast girl and understanding the Schools Cup for a number of years, it's something that everybody talks about and everybody revels in, and especially those that get to the final. You know, they'll always talk about the year that they got in the final, the year they won it.
The boys are doing the business on the pitch. It's a big day for them, but for the kids who are watching today, who are making all this noise, it's something for them to look up to as well.
I believe it is, and you know, it's an amazing thing that they can attach to their school, and you know, it's something for these guys to look up to, and the players, you know, there'll be icons in their schools, and you know, as long as that's kept, you know, a lid on it and stuff like that, I think it's an amazing experience for all schools.
Well, speaking of icons, kick-off is fast approaching. The players going through their final laps. The crowd's in good voice. Let's hand you to our match commentary team. Fair bit of Schools Cup experience there as well. Former Ulster out half Ian Humphreys and the voice of the Schools Cup. Good afternoon to Mr. Jim Neely.
Well, good afternoon, Gavin. Good afternoon, Budge, and good afternoon, everybody. Well, Sir Patrick, alas, hasn't quite managed to turn up the warm side of the stone as he's supposed to be. The rain is just about holding off. There's a bit of a breeze blowing, which could be a factor in this game. Hard to believe this is the 145th Schools Cup, and contrary to popular rumour, I was not there at the first one way back in 1876, but I've been at the last 40 or something like that. It's only the 15th time that Campbell and Innis have actually met, which is quite surprising. But between themselves and Methody, they've won 93 of the finals, and the rest of the schools put together have won 42. I think, Ian, fair to say that only about once or twice in the last 30 years has there been a final not involving Innis, Methody or Campbell. They do dominate, don't they?
They do, Jim. The Belfast schools have always been the powerhouses, and there's always been that feeling of as a country school, it's almost an upset to get here, and occasionally for the wins. But it's a great day, and we just hope that it's going to be another good occasion.
Well, it was 50 years ago on this very day that Ballyclare High School upset the odds when they beat Inst in the final to win the cup for the very first time in their history. I think the Ballyclare boys are planning a very big 50th anniversary reunion. 8 times has the cup been shared, the principals having agreed away back in the early 40s. That was in 1942, but there hasn't been a draw in this final since 1996, when Methody and Regent House battled away to a thriller which finished up at 6-all. BRA in the early 60s drew 3 finals in a row, 62, 63 and 64, with Ince, Rainey and Campbell College. And back in the old days there was 3 finals that went to extra time in 87, 1901 and 1940. Looking at the 2 semi-finals, a lot of parallels. Neither of these sides played particularly well in the first half, but had enough in the second half to pull away, and in the end both won their semis quite comfortably.
Yeah, I think that's sort of, without saying it's a concern, that's one of the worries for a team that neither of them have really been pushed that hard, Jim, over the 80 minutes. Campbell's first game against Ballymena was close. They probably dominated, and Ballymena's defence kept them in it. But other than that, for me today, whichever team gets off to a flying start could well see it through, because we know, Jim, we've been here many years, that second half the players start to tire, cramp starts to kick in, it's very stop-start, and quite often the team that starts well in the first half quite often will manage to go ahead and win it. So it's a huge first 35 minutes for the teams, and as we saw in the warm-ups, few nerves, few balls going down, a little bit greasy with the conditions, but it's a really exciting day for them, and hopefully they can all go and have a good day and play well.
You did it twice. Alas, lost both, and having lost the first one, you come back the next year. And what was it like coming back the following year, knowing that this was your last chance?
Yeah, I think when we got there the first year in '99, totally unexpected. We didn't have a great team. We were lucky we had a couple of players who kind of helped, and we got a bit of a favourable draw. In the following year, yeah, we went there with a lot of hope, but we came up against a really good RBAI team, unfortunately, and they really just dominated us. They beat us up front physically, and then they had the likes of an Andrew Maxwell who were running in tries for fun that year.
Okay, well, I think we can have a little look at the teams. Campbell College up first. Number 8 in last year's final, the Campbell skipper Finn Longstaff is now the starting tight head prop. Ulster Schools lock Alexander Brennan is in his second final, and flanker Cal McKinney is aiming to be third generation winner. Outside half, Matt Ray was a replacement a year ago. Centre Matthew Booth, this season's top try scorer, starts his second final, as is fullback Lucas Kenny, the outstanding player of the tournament this season. And it's also captained by a tight head prop, in their case Jacob Boy, Irish under-18 international, son of former Ulster prop Clem. Jacob Edwards and Daniel Moore have played almost every game together in lock. And then have at number 8 Bryn Ward, son of Andy of Ulster and Ireland fame, the Cup's top forward. Callum Soper, whose dad is Dan, the current Ulster backs coach, is at scrum half. Out half Josh Eagleson, centres Fraser Cunningham, James Hillman and fullback Josh Gibson have all represented Ulster at schools level this season. So plenty of talent there on both sides. If Ian, you were to pick out an individual from each side who could be most influential, who would it be?
Yeah, I think for Campbell they'll look a lot at Flynn Longstaff. He makes some big tackles in defence. He'll be there to carry in. And then I think for RBAI, again, it's just who's going to get them over the gain line, and Bryn Ward. Bryn Ward has been massive in the games he's played, and representative and for school. And I think it's going to be the matter of who can get over the gain line, who can get that front foot ball, and then try and release the backs, because both back lines have dangerous wingers and full backs out wide.
Campbell have not yet appeared, and Jacob Boyd waiting to lead out this Inns team, who contested not these boys, but the School 15 contested the very first final way back in 1876. This is the second oldest rugby tournament in the world, and only the London Hospitals Cup is older. Certainly the oldest rugby competition in the length and breadth of Ireland. I've seen so many people here whom I haven't seen for ages other than these Schools Cup finals. A huge special occasion. Estonians come in from everywhere. Campbellians have come from everywhere. And now the Campbell skipper Flynn Longstaff is here alongside his fellow tight head prop, the end skipper Jacob Boyd. Campbell moving away to the left. Had such a good game last year. I remember Ian against Methodist College and looked as if they were going to win it, but Methodist just had the wherewithal to hold out.
Yeah, it was a great game last year, Jim. Late scores, and it was just entertaining. Both teams really tried to play an attractive brand of rugby last year, and hopefully, weather permitting, we can get something similar today. Watching the warm-ups, Ince just looked to have so much energy, so expect a huge start from them to hopefully try and play a bit of an attacking game. Campbell are going to try and be really physical and try and dominate that way. It'll be interesting just to see which team comes out on top.
Campbell with a handful of players who are either involved in the starting 15 or off the bench last year, and Ince have a lot of fellas who were playing on the semi-final team that lost last year. The man in the middle, and he's delighted to be doing his first ever Schools Cup final, is from the splendid Enniskillen club. Final words from Jacob Boyd to his side. Bryn Ward, wearing number 8, is a big unit and very quick and will have a big influence in this game, I'm pretty sure. So the man in the lime green shirt is the referee Henry Richmond. He's been assisted by Stuart Gaffigan and Chris Cahoon. There is Henry Richmond just checking his watch, and he'll be looking forward to this one. And let's hope, given the occasion that's in it, he lets it flow and we all get to have a whistle-free game as far as possible. So Campbell College's outside half, Matt Ray, to get us underway. And he's put that long, and nobody seemed to want to call for it, and eventually they did, and that's got themselves into a wee bit of trouble. Hence, they were rather slack there. And they've got to work it infield, courtesy of their forwards, to give their clearance kicker a wee bit more room, and they've done just that. Callum Soper gets it away. Good chase by Ince, and by right wing Flynn Morrow, who's that Ulster. Robin played for Ulster not all that long ago. Just a good piece of work by Campbell's number 8, and there's a half chance if Campbell can move this, but they haven't been able to move it. Well scooped up by Daniel Harkin, and Ince give away the first penalty. Frantic start.
Yeah, it was a little bit disorganised from Ince, which is a bit surprising from the kickoff. Campbell got a good carry there, but tried to offload. A little bit scrappy, but a little bit of a high tackle in the end by Fraser Cunningham allows Campbell to try and place this deep, and I would imagine this would be a first opportunity for Campbell to get their maul going, Jim. And
they have a fairly big line out, in particular Alexander Brennan, who's something in the region of 6'5" is their tallest man. The man throwing the ball in for Campbell is going to be Jed Dornan, who's only in 5th form, but he's played all 3 cup games this year. Chris Massey, the only change from the semi-final lineup, goes over and has a word with him. Robbie Holmes, who played in the semi, is now on the bench. And here's Dornan with the first throw of this final. Well taken, as expected, by Alexander Brennan, and Campbell get a bit of a shove on. And now they break away to the open side. Need the ball away a bit on the quick side. Good tackling by Boyd, the skipper. Back in the Campbell side. Into the Ince 22. Here come Campbell again through Sean Robinson, their scrum half. Good defending from Ince. Robinson again. Number 8, Joe Jeffrey. Support from Cal McKinney, wearing number 6. Daniel Harkin takes it on for Campbell. All the pressure coming from the boys from East Belfast. Ray goes into scrum half. Here's one of the Campbell danger men, Matthew Booth, very strong centre. 2 tries in the semi-final. Offside. Well away once again. There's a call from the touch judge for an offside, and Ince have given away a very, very kickable penalty. And Stuart Gaffigan on this side was the man who called that.
Yeah, I think it was an unnecessary penalty giveaway, and a little bit harsh. I thought it was the ball looked like it goes out, and as Bryn Ward came up the defensive line, as you said, the assistant referee, the touch judge, he called it the offside. So Ince just don't want to give Campbell too many easy opportunities into 22. So far the defence has been very strong, and again they'll look to try and sack this small early.
Interesting decision by Campbell. It looked evidently kickable, but they've gone for the corner. And And they've taken at least one player out of the line-out. So they've got to get this through right. Well, that's nicely done. Here comes the hooker. That's a nice ball. Good driving forward by James McConnell. Campbell within touching distance of the Ince line. Once again, it's Brennan, the big second row. Open side, Cameron Faith came off the bench last year. Still Campbell putting on all the pressure. That's a great drive by Chris Massey. And again, Ince give away a penalty, not releasing at the breakdown. And Campbell, I'm pretty sure Ian will go to the far corner.
Yeah, it seems to be in vogue these days, Jim. The teams back their maul, back their set piece. And interesting enough that another penalty given away. Inster throwing 2 or 3 players into every tackle. At some stages, we're going to go for a tap penalty and see how Flynn Longstaff carries this.
Number 8 in last year's final, a tap and drive by Longstaff. He's not too far away. The referee's in the perfect position, and here go Campbell again. And Inster still holding them out, but for how much longer? And again, it's a Campbell drive. Now they move it wide. Ray gets it away. That's nicely done. And again, Ince up quickly in the Campbell faces. Seemed to be plenty of room out wide, but they couldn't get it away. That is seriously good Ince defence. Campbell still have it though. Robinson gets it away to Faith. Quick ball. Robinson again looking for one of his big centres to take it on, and he finds one. And again, Ince tackling ferociously. That's really good work by Ince centre James Hillman. Still there for Campbell, looking for one little break in that Ince defence, and it's not happening just yet, but it might. Taken on by the skipper, Longstaff. Robinson again. Ray, little flat pass. Oh, still going. And that's very good defending by Ince, and it brings a penalty against Campbell.
Brilliant defence by Ince. And Jim, sometimes that's as good as a line break, that's as good as a point. Sometimes that defensive set there, we've been going now 5 minutes and Ince have barely touched the ball. Campbell been trying to get over the gain line, but double tackles by Ince. Campbell keep changing direction, which means they're not able to shorten the defensive line, and they can't manage to get the overlap. So brilliant defence by Ince now, and it's just a case of making sure they can win their line out and try and find a little bit of territory. But they're playing into a bit of a breeze, so perhaps it's going to be difficult for them to try and get out of their own territory.
Coming up to 6 minutes played, still no score. Campbell loosehead Chris Massey seems to be okay. James Clark throws. That's well taken by Ince. Clark comes round wearing the red protective headgear. A few more Ince players join in. Clark might think about sneaking up this narrow side, but that gap between the maul and the touchline has been closed, and Ince will have to play this one, and they do play it. That's a good drive by the boys from College Square East. Looked like a high tackle. Well, knocked forward, says the referee. I think you should have another look at that, Ian, because that looked like a high tackle to me.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a swinging arm there. I think, who was it? Maybe perhaps it was Joe Jeffrey, the Campbell number 8. That's definitely a swinging high, swinging arm. And I think, fortunately, there's no TMO in these games, Jim, because that's one of those ones that if the referee picks that up, that's potentially a yellow card in today's game. Yeah,
well, the touch judge was pretty close to it, or the linesman, or whatever you want to call him, the assistant referee in old money or new money. Anyway, it's been a knock on. We have the first scrum. The two best props in the province at schools level are not opposite each other because they're both tight heads. On the Ince tight head is their skipper, Jacob Boyd. His dad played rugby for Curry, for Bedford, for Bath, and for Ulster, and was an Irish schools player way back in the day. Still 7.5 minutes gone. It's been all Campbell in terms of possession and territory, and here they have another chance. Campbell's number 8, Joe Jeffrey, is on the flank, and that's a penalty against Campbell in the scrummage, and that will maybe make up for Ince not getting the penalty for what I thought was a high tackle. Longstaff, the Campbell skipper, who played number 8 as we've mentioned last year, the man who concedes the penalty. Yeah, the referee immediately being very vocal and explaining his decisions and telling Longstaff
what he's expecting from him, which is all you can ask from the referee. And that's a great clearance kick there by Josh Eagleson, giving Ince now their first opportunity to attack into the Campbell territory.
Inside side half, Josh Eagleson is the great nephew of a wonderful man, alas no longer with us, Joe Eagleson, former president of the Ulster branch, and could have played senior rugby, but all his life stuck to his old school former pupils, Grosvenor High School. What a great wee man Joey was, and how much he's missed. Ince ball, that's nicely done. Good chance now for Ince. Now it's quicker. Whoops, that went forward. The pass wasn't all that terribly sympathetic, but the recipient, I'm afraid, took his eye off the ball.
Yeah, Jim, in these conditions, that's quite a long pass to ask for the guy coming around the back of the maul. Perhaps that needs to be tightened up slightly. The condition, it's a slippy ball, and we just see that they're just slightly passed behind him, and unfortunately Daniel Moore couldn't quite take it. But referees come around the other side of the scrum just to see what happened in the last one, as we heard Flynn Longstaff trying to argue his case.
Jacob Boyd on the Ince tight head side, putting it in. Sean Robinson from Campbell opposite him. Callum Soper, the Ince scrum half, whose dad used to coach Ince and is now one of the Ulster senior coaching panel. Well blocked by Ince, but Campbell have done well to recover, but they're outside their 22, so they can't really kick directly into touch, but they might have to. And that's a very good kick. Well taken by Josh Gibson up to the 10-metre line. Support there from Callum Sims, the open side flanker. Better now for Ince, having been under a lot of pressure for the opening 10 minutes. Here goes Bryn Ward. He's an abrasive, hard runner, as was his dad before him. Nicely done by Ince. There's a wee chance here if they can get this away. Bit of a tendency to hang on to the ball, some of the Ince centres, but they're still in possession. Quicker ball now from Ince. Boyd has a go himself, the captain. What a thundering drive by the Ince skipper. Well into the 22. Eagleson again. Little flat pass up to Jack Parkinson, the open side. Eagleson, oh, very nearly through. This is much better stuff now from Ince after all that Campbell pressure. Ball back on the inside. This is the closest Ince have been to the Campbell line, and can they capitalise on this possession and territorial advantage? James Clark, the hooker, wasn't too far away, and here they go again. Scrum half Soper's just waiting. Clark loops round. Also waiting too is loosehead prop Blake McLean. And then Stry here would just hit the spot, and unfortunately, cold weather, wet hands, slippery ball, scrum to Campbell.
Yeah, good defence by Campbell there. We just saw, Jim, just outside the 22, Campbell forwards were all really heavily bunched. They were overcommitting to the rucks. Instead, a bit of an overlap and managed to make good yards. Got through. A nice break, show and go by Josh Eagleson, nearly got him through, and then he just tried to play the power game, and Campbell were able just to put up a good enough defence, but under huge pressure. Ince are going to get those overlaps if they can continue to recycle quick ball.
Almost 12 minutes gone, still no score. This one was always going to be close. Sean Robinson, this last year at school, and this time the scrum penalty goes against Ince. I think it's gone against their loosehead prop Blake McLean.
Yeah, that's what Flynn Longstaff was complaining about after that first scrum. Referee's gone round that side and he's picked up on the complaints. So a good opportunity for Campbell to be able to clear their lines, and a kick there. They just need to win the line out again and then get a good clearance kick from, most likely they'll use their box kicking option off Sean Robinson.
Doesn't appear, according to the touch judge on the far side, Chris Cahoon, his flag doesn't indicate there's much of a win. Now it's suddenly picked up, so it's coming and going. Campbell's through. Jed Dornan has played all the cup games this season. Good challenge by Ince, but Campbell managed to tidy it up, and they had to. Robinson, the scrum half, goes in to try to get it away. And he's done just that, but it's going to be an Ince throw.
Yeah, good decision. He hasn't taken out all risk of an RBAI counter-attack. He's put it deep into the stance. There's no quick line-outs. There's no opportunity to attack. Campbell now, they back their defence, they'll get themselves into a good set, they'll put pressure on this Inst line out, and it'll be just what Inst need to do is do what they did. Crash it up the middle, go round the corner, and the Campbell defence get narrow to give opportunities to attack wide.
It's the first Inst Campbell final since 2016 when Inst won it. That was the middle of 3 in a row for the boys from RBAI. Nice dummy sold by James Clark, and then still motoring forward, away by Soper. Taken on by second row Daniel Moore. Good Campbell defending. Robinson gets it away once again, and here come Inst taking route 1. Centre Fraser Cunningham in the middle of all of that, and Campbell have turned it over, and they've broken away, and that's really good work by big Alexander Brennan. Not just as big as his second row compatriot from last year, Joe Hopes, who was 6'8". Nudged forward by Inst, and a Campbell scrummage. A bit messy out there, down to the conditions. Still not really raining. There's almost a fine little mist there, Ian, but I'm sure conditions are pretty slippery in terms of handling.
It is, Jim, and you can just look at the pitch. It's a little bit soft, so the little bit of sand that's been added to a little bit of soil gets in the ball, becomes very greasy. Just need to keep their composure. Don't, when there's a turnover, that was a great carry by Campbell, got over the gain line, and as it scored out, somebody tried to get a kick through. I think it was Cameron Faith, got charged down, put on a bit of pressure, but now an opportunity whether Campbell try and have a launch attack. We haven't yet seen Lucas Kenny get in the game, whether they can try and use him in the wider channels.
This time next year, this cup final will be played on an artificial pitch, because I think it's been more or less copper fastened that Ulster are going to go 4G, as they call it. Here come Campbell again. Here's Kenny. Well, they were lying in wait for him, but he's still going forward. He is such a talent. Pops up from almost nowhere, and again good work once again by Campbell, and wonderful defending by Inst. Campbell pushed back inside their 10-metre line, and another penalty against Inst.
Yeah, just getting caught at the bottom of the ruck. Campbell do well. They put pressure on by over committing to the ruck. They're putting a lot of bodies there. It makes it difficult for Inst and for James Hillman to roll away. So Campbell have done really well, Jim, by putting Inst under huge pressure. They've gone penalty, which has allowed them to work down into Inst half. And again, now see whether they can put their power game into play.
A good kick by Campbell outside half, Matt Ray. Campbell just taking their time. Once again, keeping, I think, a couple of players out of that line-out. A word from Chris Massey to his hooker Jed Dornan. Oh, taken cleverly at the front, round the front to Dornan once again. This is good stuff. Cameron Faith making a lot of ground down that narrow side. Did really well back on the Campbell side, and nobody really knew it was coming back. Chris Massey makes some inroads into the Inst defending. Callum Sims is standing back, but here come Campbell again, and it's their outside half, Matt Ray. 6 or 7 metres to the Inst line, and plenty of men on this side, and that's been spilled forward. But there's another penalty going to be given, and I think Jamie Kirk and Richard Headley, the Inst coaches, will not be altogether happy about the number of mistakes apparently their team are making.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. I think that was a great play around the front of the line out for Campbell, but other than that, they're not putting that Inst defence under huge pressure. So the only way Inst are getting any purchases through these penalties. So Inst, if they can clean up around the breakdown on their offsides, then defensively they've been solid. But by giving away these penalties, this Campbell maul, you'd imagine from 5 metres out, could prove costly.
This might be the time to do another clever round the front move, but it's all about Jed Dornan getting the throw right. He does get the throw right. That's very straightforward. Down they go. Dornan comes into the back. Now Campbell driving for the Inst line, and Inst have conceded yet another penalty. Campbell held up yet again, and they've got it away. Good work by James McConnell. Must be a try now if Campbell can shift this. That's better. Lucas Kenny had come into the line, so if Inst can get it away, there's nobody there for Campbell. But Campbell have got it, and they're still going forward. The Inst tackling is absolutely copybook. Here come Campbell again. Ball carrier put to ground 10 metres from the Inst goal line. This is better stuff. That's a lovely bit of passing in the middle of the park by Campbell. Here comes Kenny. Has another go himself. He's held. Referee, is he still playing advantage? It's been a very long advantage if he is. Good defending once again by Inst. That was the longest bit of advantage in a schools final I can remember, Ian.
Yeah, huge advantage. It's just putting Ince under more and more pressure. It's giving Campbell so many opportunities. Ince defence so far has been perfect. I think we just would imagine Flynn Longstaff just had a word with the referee that next time it's got to be considered a yellow card, Jim, because this is penalty on penalty.
Sorry, Dustin, please.
Well, Henry Richmond is just saying something along those lines to the Ince skipper, Jacob Boyd. So we need to speak to his slightly over-enthusiastic teammates about giving away silly penalties at crucial parts of this game and crucial parts of the field. Jed Dornan once again for Campbell. Good hoist at the front. Down comes Dornan. He's got the ball in, tucked in. Now can he slingshot himself to the open side? They're going forward, Campbell. They're not that far away. This is the closest they've been. And if he goes now, he might well get over. He doesn't realise perhaps where the line is, but here he goes. And has he got it down? He has got it down. That's a try for Campbell College. And it looks as if it's the hooker, Jed Dornan, who's the last man up. That was coming.
It was, Jim. When you give away that number of penalties, when you put yourself under that amount of pressure against a team like Campbell, who we know has got a big physical pack, it was a matter of time. Ince will be frustrated that it's of their own doing. They were on the Campbell line and gave away a couple of penalties. But credit to Campbell, they stayed patient, they didn't try and force the offloads, they didn't try and go out on their own, they were just very, very clinical. And I think probably in the balance of play so far, a well-deserved lead.
Well, they held it, and they held it, and then they held it, and at the last minute they got over the line, and they made sure they weren't taking any chances there. A well-constructed try from a well-constructed and thought-out line-out. And Ince who had their little moments for a few minutes, but they've now been under pressure for most of this first half, and we are well into the second half of it. Remember, they only play 35 minutes in the Schools Cup finals. There's somebody down, as we discussed earlier on, with a little bit of cramp. It's a Campbell player, but in the meantime it's Matt Ray, who got a try on a conversion in the semi-final, has added a very good conversion. And with just about 20 minutes gone in the first half here in the 2023 Danske Bank Ulster Schools Cup final, is Campbell College leading Ince by 7 points to 0.
And a well-deserved lead for Campbell, Jim. I think no reason for RBAI at this minute to panic. They probably looked a slightly more dangerous team with the opportunities. They just haven't managed yet to get enough possession and territory to really make those opportunities count. So they'll try and get down into Campbell half and keep pressure on them.
Eagleson, with the restart, spilled forward by... Did Nim's hand knock it forward? That was a Campbell knock on, and you know, the referee didn't play much advantage there, did he?
No, I think the call came in from the assistant referee and immediately he blew. Would have been a nice opportunity for Ince perhaps to try and play with a bit of advantage, but at this stage, getting themselves, it's good to sort of calm down, Jim. They've got the ball now. They've got a set piece in danger position. This is where you want your number 10, Josh Eagleson, to take control. Get a call where they can look after the ball for a couple of phases in the game, because so far they haven't had very much possession.
And he's got a couple of very good centres outside of Eagleson. James Hillman, whose dad Kenton was an Irish school scrum half. Here go Ince off the back of the scrum, and it's Ward making a bit of ground as he always did. Nicely away. This is better now from Ince. That should have been given. Maybe nobody quite close enough to him, to be honest. Here come Ince again, spilled forward by Boyd. And it's all a bit anxious, and they're snatching at things in under a little bit of pressure, and they're not coping well with it.
Yes, it's what happens when you don't get very much ball. You think you really have to throw the magic play, or you have to go a little bit harder. Boyd came around the corner in a nice line. Whether it was a miscommunication, whether or not it was just that Callum Super didn't see him, it was a little bit firm, a little bit behind him. Ince just need to try and get the ball, Jim. It's a little bit... They went wide too early when they didn't have the overlap there. They're just trying to play that. Obviously something they planned in the week, but they just need at the minute to try and get the ball back and then play possession, because at the minute Campbell have all the ball and putting them under pressure.
Ben Ward down in the middle of the Ince back row. Brother Zach's been on the 7 circuit all around the world with Ireland. Campbell get it away. Ray decides not to kick, but leaves it for his full back. It doesn't find his touch. No, can Ince counter from here? That's a bit better. Runs into a bit of trouble. Signs of final nerves out there. Eagleson. That came off. Referee decided that was a knock on. Maybe his touch judge again called that one. I thought it was a bit. I thought it came off his shin, but must have touched his hand.
Yes, in these conditions, it's a difficult one to take, and
Fingertip maybe.
yeah, perhaps in hindsight, Jake Daly could have just used his foot just to trap it, because it is very greasy. But this is another opportunity now. Ince have got up here. This is the second or third time they've taken they've taken Bryn Ward off the base, and they're going to try and attack with him in midfield or use him as a decoy to try and use the space out wide.
Yeah, Ince have put their open side flanker Jack Parkinson in the number 8 position, and they brought Flynn Morrow, the right wing, to play on the blind side of the flank. So having done that, they are definitely going to use Ward, and here he goes, and he's big and he's strong, and he's taken off at the ankles. Good defending by a couple of Campbell men. Here come Ince again. Again, it's Jack Parkinson, desperate now to close this gap. Ince ball is back on their side. Pop up to Boyd, the captain, who's made a decent bit of ground. Still there for Ince. And again, it's Parkinson takes a little pop pass. Good support play from Jacob Edwards, the second row. Chance of Ince can move this. Little tap tackle on the ankle, and the Ince ball carrier. Now they go again. Here comes Boyd, the captain, leading very much by example. Callum Soper trying to winkle that ball out, and he does. Finds a couple of forwards. Good tackle by Cameron Faith, the Campbell open side. Here comes Ward, immensely strong. Good presentation, and still trying to go route one, ignoring the men outside. And here they go again, and this is pretty close. Referee Henry Richmond is perfectly positioned to see what's going on down there. Closer than we are anyway. And here go Ince again. Pick up and drive for the Campbell line. One more go, and they've got it. And I do believe it's the skipper.
Yeah, another good score by Ince, by Jacob Boyd. Managed to get them on the end of that last pick and go. Again, Bryn Ward, hugely influential in this passage of play, Jim. He's getting carry after carry. Ince are getting most purchase whenever they can get a carry, maybe sort of 5 meters away from the ruck. If they just pick and go, that Campbell defence is very strong. But once they get a little bit wider, they're getting over the gain line, and then they're getting big overlaps. So the next carry soft and the next carry soft. So they got near the line, they went to the pick and go, and from there, Jacob Boyd did really well to see that the Campbell defence had slid across slightly, and there's an opportunity just to dive in. So great play by Ince. They haven't had to work as hard for the scores as Campbell did, so they'll be pleased that with sort of only their second opportunity in this territory, they've managed to get over the line.
A bit of a problem with an Ince player who's down getting a bit of treatment. He may well have got the dreaded cramps. In the meantime, it's a difficult enough kick this for the inside half, Josh Eagleson, as he brought that one in. Not quite, so no conversion. So with about 9 minutes remaining of this closely contested first half, Campbell still in the lead, leading by 7 points to 5.
Yeah, I think Ince have shown there, Jim, that perhaps they're a more dangerous team with possession, and the only reason that they're going to let Campbell back in this game is through ill discipline. So if they can clean up their offsides, they work around the ruck time, then they'll try and get back down into Campbell territory and get another score. It was a lovely strike by Josh Eagleson, just unfortunate, sorry, I think it was maybe Fraser Cunningham. He just unfortunately he missed it. But Campbell with the lead will be looking to try and find territory and get another score before half time.
Matt Ray with the restart, not that far, gathered in by Ince. Soper a little bit slow getting there, but Campbell got themselves offside, so off the hook.
Yeah, I think that was unfortunate for Campbell. From up here, Jim, the ball did look out. The Campbell players called it, but the referee said no. So it's one of those ones where you have to fight your instincts and try and listen to Henry Richmond, who was very, very clear. And credit to the ref, he is very vocal and he's very clear to the players about what he's seeing and what he's needing.
Good clearance kick by Josh Eagleson with about 8 minutes remaining, and on balance, a deserved lead by Campbell.
Yeah, I think so, Jim. I think just due to the territory they've had and the physicality, but Ince have shown how dangerous they are with the opportunities. So Campbell need to try and avoid letting Ince into territory, and Ince need to avoid their penalties. And whichever team can do that better, I think will probably come out on top at the end of this game.
Boys, come to me.
Ince line out just inside the Campbell half. Cameron Faith comes up and tells, I should say Jack Parkinson comes up and tells James Clark where they want the ball thrown. Oh, that's well stolen by Campbell. Ince couldn't have really afforded to have lost that one. That was knocked on by a Campbell hand. Referee is playing advantage this time. Let's see how much advantage he does play. Ince moving forward. Soper away. Eagleson. Slippery conditions. Here they come again. That's straight into a Campbell hand. And here come the boys in black, and that's good work by Joe Jeffrey, a rumbustious number 8. Plenty of men on this side for Campbell. Ray with the kick. What a very good kick that is. Oh, that's an absolute belter. Fortuitous bounce perhaps, but the intention was wonderful.
Yeah, it was great bounce for Ray. It was a good opportunity there by Ince. They tried to put the ball through. I think it was straight into Matthew Booth's hands, who did really well to hold it and get a counter-attack, and then a nice carry by Joe Jeffrey as well, got them over the gain line. So Campbell are just playing the pressure game, turning Ince at all opportunities and putting Ince under pressure to try and exit their own 22.
It is an Ince line-out, but if Campbell can pinch it, as they have done a couple of times, and get a score before the interval, it could make life difficult for Ince. Boyd whispers to his hooker James Clark. Back in the Campbell side. That's another Ince line-out has gone awry. Away by Ray. This is Kenny, the danger man, but absolutely clattered. And Ince have driven forward well, and they've got the penalty. Wonderful counter-rucking by the Ince loose forwards, and indeed by their midfield.
Yeah, that's a great counter-ruck. Good identification that there's no opportunity to jackal or to try and poach the ball. And then they're just a massive overcommit to the ruck, to counter-ruck, Jim. And that's sort of, people who are talking about trying to get rid of the jackal, this is what they want to see more of. The counter-ruck that then opens up ball, gets a turnover. And Campbell couldn't resist putting their hand in there, knocking it back, and a penalty to Ince now to give them possession in the Campbell half.
Bit of a scruffy old kick by Josh Eagleson, but Ince into the Campbell half with 5 minutes and a wee bit remaining to the interval. This, as we mentioned, is just the 15th Campbell Ince final, and Campbell have won 7 of them. Ince 5 in 2 games have been drawn. The last way back in 1960 when Robin Hogg captained Campbell and the great John Birch captained Ince. That's not a straight throw. Referee seems to be happy with it, so he's let that go. And here goes Ward, who's well tackled. They've given him no room, Campbell, whatsoever. Know the threat he poses. And again, Ince drive forward up to the 10-metre line. Ball was out. Knocked on by Soper. Advantage to Campbell. Here they come. This is Ray. Jake Daly, the left wing. First time he's got ball in hand into the Ince half. Campbell player down. I hope it's just cramp. That's not a bad kick. Well taken by Josh Gibson. And the slippery pitch is starting to prove a little bit on the treacherous side. Still there for Ince. Soper pops it up.
Take him
Back to Eagleson. Back to, from outside the 22. That's good covering by Sean Robinson, Campbell's scrum half. Here's Kenny. Got it away well. That's nicely done. Well taken by Campbell's inside centre, James McConnell. Good flat pass to Longstaff, the captain, who carries well. A wonderful pass that is from Robinson, the scrum half. Can he do it again? He's men on this side. Back inside to Cameron Faith. Campbell still moving forward. Henry Ralston, whose brother Ollie played in a losing Schools Cup final team a few years ago. Big Alex Brennan sets it up. Here's Longstaff, the captain, number 8 in last year's final. Campbell now into the Ince 22, looking for a crucial score before the interval. That's gone all over the place. Now can Ince pounce? They certainly can, but Campbell have managed to, I think, retrieve the situation.
It's fine, just knock on.
Knocked on by Ince, referee playing advantage to Campbell College. Campbell player still down, getting a bit of treatment.
Are there, tackler?
Longstaff offloads, that's been knocked forward, and they'll go back for the initial knock forward.
That's a big long advantage he's played again, Jim. So Campbell fortunate now to get a scrum. I think it's an opportunity now for Matthew Booth. Unfortunately, he's going to have to come off. He played last year's final. He's going to come off, and I think there'll be a substitute coming on. Looks like a bit of an ankle injury after that carry by Bryn Ward. Campbell have looked dangerous, Jim. And then just the next phase, RBAI, they're so quick to recover defensively, it's incredible. They look like their numbers down, one more ruck, and then they manage to spread. So they're obviously very good at identifying when their numbers down, not overcommitting to rucks, when Campbell just lose opportunities. Lucas Kenny's looked really good, Jim, on his counter-attacks. There's times when you get these guys who are great schools players, and every time they get the ball, they try and do it all themselves. He's managed a couple of times to find overlaps, to play the players outside him. He's opened up opportunities around him because the defensive insts are sort of coming tight on him, expecting him to do everything himself. So great play by Campbell, but again, sort of the recurring theme is this defence by inst is just really strong, really good. And if they can keep their discipline, Jim, I think they're going to definitely get back in this game with a second half.
There in the bib, somebody you would not expect to be with Campbell College. He's the Ulster second row, and sometimes skipper, the great Alan O'Connor, was asked to go and help, and he's really enjoyed it and is absolutely loving it. And maybe there's a career for him after his playing, but he's a long way from stopping playing. Alan O'Connor, what a player he's been for Ulster over 10 years.
Yeah, he's done really well, Jim. He's really become one of the real heartbeats of the side. Very important. And it's great to see the Ulster players, the likes of an Andy Warwick as well, who are in coaching with the local schools. It just helps them obviously understand that they enjoy the coaching, but imparting their wisdom in these guys, because these school players are almost professional. The way they prepare, the way they play, the way they analyse the opposition, they're learning from the best, like the likes of an Alan O'Connor, and it's great to see the players putting a little bit back into the game.
Well, next time we see Big Al may well be on Saturday week when Ulster host the Bulls, and to the best of my knowledge that's the game you can see with us on BBC 2 television in Northern Ireland. And then Ulster have 2 more regular league games after that. They've got the Dragons at home and they've got Edinburgh at home. They have a small matter early next month of Leinster down at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin, and already more than 40,000 tickets have been sold for that. Wow.
It's going to be a great game, Jim, and you hope after tomorrow's Ireland game it's going to be teams coming off the bounce of a big Grand Slam, and how many Irish players will be involved. And you just hope from Ulster's point of view, the Leinster lads aren't likely to play for Leinster next week. They're going to go back in that quarter-final a little bit rusty in how Leinster play, and hopefully for Ulster, Jim, there's a good opportunity for what some might see as a bit of an upset.
Well, I bumped into Robert Balakoon just before the game, and he looks fit, and he said he's ready to go and hopes to be playing against the Bulls next time out. The clock had stopped. We've still just got over 2 minutes remaining. He's hobbling a little bit, Matthew Booth, but I think he's going to try to last to half-time and get a little bit of treatment. So 7-5 to Campbell College. Early try by hooker Jed Dornan, converted by outside half Matt Ray, for inst the try by their skipper Jacob Boyd, which went unconverted. And away we go again. Just under 2 minutes remaining. Scrum to Campbell. Sean Robinson waiting to deliver, as he has done pretty well. Gets it nice and flat. Good strong running by Campbell. Robinson again. Well taken on by Campbell. Robinson switches direction. This is Ray. Kenny get in. Oh, beautifully done by Kenny. That deserves a try. Herring down the far wing is Henry Ralston, who's not slow by any means. Campbell looking for a decisive score by the interval. Yeah, Matthew Booth is hovering very badly, and Campbell haven't got the try, but they've got the penalty. Now, the referee had been threatening to issue a yellow card against an inst transgressor, and he's decided not to do that at the minute, and Ray will waste no time getting into the corner. You know, just looking at him hobbling there off camera, I can't see James McConnell playing much in the second half.
No, Jim, I think he's definitely going to have to come off. He's limping here, he's not able to do anything. So Campbell did the right thing. They played down the blind side after an midfield hit up, and great work by Lucas Kenny to get the offload. And now another penalty's given Campbell the opportunity for their maul. I
think Campbell will just pick and drive this one. Now, where are they going to throw it to? That's not a great throw, and Ulster have not managed to pick it up. Now they have. It was all over the place. Referee had the whistle in the mouth, but decided not to blow because no offence had been committed. Soper gets it away to his captain, who's been industrious, Jacob Boyd. Still Ince moving forward, getting out of harm's way into the last few seconds of this first half. It has been a pretty good game, and Ince again give away a penalty. That penalty count must be in double figures, which is enormous for a school side.
Yeah, that is, Jim, and that's a great turnover it was by Cameron Faith. I think this is probably the first penalty that's been given away at the breakdown due to a jackal. But it's just given Campbell now the opportunity to try and get 3 points just before half-time. But I think we're watching Lucas Kenny here. If Ince, once they turned over that line, I just could have got their heads up. He was standing on his own, completely isolated, unable to move, and it was an opportunity for Ince to try and go from their own line, but unfortunately they just went back into the forwards, went back down the blind side, got turned over as they were trying to run out the clock, and it's given the opportunity here for Matt Ray to try and get 3 points just before half-time and extend Campbell's lead.
Hold on. Take a step, you're coming forward.
Interesting decision. Rather than go to the corner, they've decided to go for the 3 points, which should give them a 5-point lead. Little chip with the right foot as he brought that one in. What a great kick by Campbell College outside half, Matt Ray. And that's just what the East Belfast side wanted on the stroke of half-time. Looked like Ince weren't going to concede again, but they did. The penalty was given away, and it was well kicked by Ray. And at half-time, it's Campbell College 10 and RBAI 5. What a good strike in.
That's a great kick, Jim. It's not easy from the right-hand side, and these conditions aren't easy either. So that's a massive, massive 3 points now for Campbell. Give them that little bit of a comfort or cushion that the Ince can't just kick a penalty to win the game now. And I think it's probably what's deserved in this first half. Campbell definitely had more territory. Ince had looked a little bit more dangerous when they've had the ball, but their disciplines let them down. Both teams incredibly aggressive and physical in defence. There haven't been many opportunities, so it's just whoever can sort of tidy up around the breakdown, keep their discipline clean and look after the ball well will probably come through in the second half. But look, very good first half. Great ambition by both teams to try and play. They haven't just kicked the ball away, and it's been an entertaining game despite the fact it's only 10-5.
Thank you very much, Ian. Yep, a lot more to come in the second half. The weather is not improving. It's getting colder and colder, and the wind is picking up. Whether that will favour RBAI or Campbell in the second half, we'll wait and see. In the meantime, it's half-time in the 2023 Danske Bank Ulster Schools Cup Final, and it's Campbell College 10 and RBAI 5.
Jimmy, and thank you, Budge Pounty, with me down here pitch side. It's not getting any nicer down here. What did you make of that first half?
Yeah, listen, it was a pretty dominated in terms of the defence from both teams. I think that they're really well set up. The kind of contact work that's going on from both teams has been really, really strong. But you know, you look at the weather and you kind of feel that it's dictating the way that the game's going. It's kind of quite tight, but you know that's good in many ways.
We talked about how big the guys are. The physicality's been huge out there, as you'd expect.
Oh yeah, look, they're putting their heart and soul into this game, and the physicality is really strong. But they're two well-conditioned teams, and they seem to be, you know, they looks like they're taking some big shots, but they're getting up and they're carrying on and creating some really good play.
Campbell in control. What was the key for them in that first half?
Well, they started off really well. They had that first period, I think it was almost 7 minutes, where they kept control of the ball, and although Ince were very strong in their D and were very quick off the line, that they were giving away quite a few penalties, which enabled that pressure to build for Campbell. And later on in the game, they've started to use a bit more width, which has created some holes in the Ince defence. So they'll be pretty pleased about what they've done so far.
It has been frantic. I suppose that's the nature of a Schools Cup final. Do both sides now, as they discuss things in the huddle, talk about maybe cooling things down a little?
Yeah, I think what you'll see in the second half is that you know, both packs have been going at each other fairly strong. There's going to be a few more holes. This pitch is a large pitch, and we'll see some weakening of the boys, and hopefully we'll see a few more holes for them to really capitalise on.
Yeah, well, Budge has been with us the entire time. Craig Gilroy has decided to make an appearance. Craig, how much the first half did you see? I know you were lifting weights or doing whatever with the Ulster boys there.
Apologies, we were just straight out of the gym there. I saw the majority of it. Quite a loose game with the conditions. Probably can't see from the TV, but it's quite blustery down here. I thought Campbell did really well with their trick play from the line-out down their left-hand side, and then again Lucas Kenny down the right-hand side. Amazing offload, you know, at that level to nearly put Campbell away. So it's been a good half, and it's starting to open up a bit now.
Tell us about some of your Schools Cup memories. Do they come flooding back on a day like this?
They do every year. It's always the same. Sad not to see Methody here today, but
that's why you're here. You're completely unbiased, of course.
Yeah. I was stopped short, just about 15 metres away from scoring in the corner here, and I was devastated at the time. I always wanted to score in a Schools Cup final, but you know, I didn't know then I was going to go on and score a few here for Ulster. So
that was a year or two ago. I remember it well. How far do you think things have come in terms of schoolboy rugby, the standard you're seeing out here today compared to your day?
Yeah, I mean, hugely. Obviously, when I was still playing, it was taken very seriously, and it still is now. And the size of some of the guys here, you know, like the guys like Bryn Ward and Jacob, the captain there for Ince, massive guys who are still in school, and you tend to see some guys will go on and play professionally, and the rest will not want to know rugby because they've done so much training at that level at school.
How do you see this shaping up in the second half?
Sorry?
How do you see things shaping up in the second half?
Well, I hope this weather subsides a bit and the second half continues like the first half sort of ended, a bit playing with a bit more confidence. The nerves have probably settled now, you know, and they can relax a bit more, and hopefully be a really good final.
Yeah, Campbell looking very keen. It's just coming out of the huddle. How do you see it going, Budge?
Yeah, I'm like Craig a little bit. I think they'll open up. I think we'll see a few more holes, and hopefully we'll get a bit more width on the game and see a few more tries in there.
Okay, more from the boys at full time. Let's get back to Ian and Jim.
Well, trailing by 5 points, RBAI will get this second half underway. I'm just looking down to see if I can see any numbers that would on the Campbell backs that would indicate that their outstanding centre Matthew Booth has left the field. I can't really see if there's anybody on. More of that in a second. Need a little bit of assistance at this stage of my career. Henry Richmond, who's blown a penalty or two in the first half, particularly against RBAI, is waiting for Josh Eagleson to get the second half underway. And the Campbell skipper, Flynn Longstaff, is going over to have a word with the referee, and I think there must be a replacement coming on, because I don't see Booth at all anywhere, and I don't think they brought anybody in. A quick head count: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Well, there seem to be 15 players on the field, so obviously somebody has come on, haven't they?
Change in the FYI. 1 yellow off, 17 yellow on. Just coming now.
Ince, I think, are making a change. I think number 17 is on, who is loose head prop Zach Molyneux is on, and here is the well, that's Booth himself, isn't it, coming on? So very brave of him. I hope it's not foolish. In the meantime, Ince have made the change in the front row, taken in by Campbell and by Cameron Faith, who gets a little bit of help from his fellow back row forward, Cal McKinney. Ray confidently moves it wide. That's a good kick, well gathered in by Ince. Now can they make a little ground? Ince into the Campbell half, trailing by just 5 points, remember. So far to go down the far touchline, it would seem. Well, that's a nasty hanging one. That's well chased by Ince, bounced back on the inside. And has it gone into touch? Not just yet. And Ince, I think, have regathered possession. Yes, they have. Good support play from hooker James Clark. Back in the Campbell side. How did they pinch that? There were men over there, but Campbell decided to run it, and that's going to go straight into touch, is it? No, it's not. Ooh, at the second attempt, not quite. Josh Gibson puts it in field to Eagleson. Lucas Kenny, haven't really seen him run, and we might see him now, you know, and there he goes, very close to a complete breakthrough. Clever little kick by Robinson. What a horrible bounce, that could go anywhere.
Offside. In front of the kicker. In front of the kicker. Marks on me, Henry.
Penalty to Ince.
Come towards me.
Campbell player was in front of the ball when it was kicked by scrum half Sean Robinson here.
Here as well.
Yeah. It's one of those ones, Jim. It's been. Oh, there's Lucas Kenny. Or sorry, Matthew Booth's gone off now, and I think that's the right decision. That's one of those. decisions that was called in by the touch judge for the offside, and I'm not really sure whether it's one that was necessarily interfering with play. And then for me, I think Henry Ralston, the Campbell right winger, managed to put him onside. So one of the ones where at this level we almost want the game to flow instead of calling the offsides and bringing the decisions. But it's just, it is what it is. It's now giving RBAI the opportunity to attack into the Campbell half, and they're going to try and obviously get through the phase and try and find a little bit of space out wide if they can suck in the Campbell defence again.
Sam Boomer has come on to take the place of the injured Matthew Booth in the centre. He'll be wearing number 22, and as we said at the start of the second half, Instead made a replacement on the loose head prop side with Blake McLean leaving the field and Zach Molyneux coming on. This is Ince ball. That's well taken. Soper gets it away. Eagleson in the outside half position. And Jersey just held on to Soper again on the narrow side. Good change of direction by Ince. Need to keep possession, and they do. Eagleson. Well, Bryn Ward has been kept fairly well shackled by the Campbell defenders. Chance of Ince can move this. Good work by Fraser Cunningham, leaves it behind him. Well taken by Soper under difficult conditions. Play on, says the referee. Campbell have knocked that one backward, and the referee's happy with the play advantage. This is good play by big Daniel Harkin, the Campbell second row. Robinson couldn't control it, but that's well picked up by Campbell. There's a half chance here. Taken on by James McConnell, who's lost his centre partner Matthew Booth. Cameron Faith, who's been very industrious all afternoon. Well taken by Eagleson. Good bit of ground. Needs a scrum half to be there. Soper is there. That's well done. Here goes Ward. And they do the right thing and take him off low round the ankles. Referee playing advantage. That's nicely done by Ince. Couldn't quite get the ball away though. Soper half blocked. Molyneux just on the field. Made a big difference in terms of the carrying. That's gone backward. Play on, says the referee. Fraser Cunningham has to go in. Soper thought about the kick. That's nicely done by Flynn Morrow. Came in field, ran a nice line. This is Alex Place, first time he's got his paws in the ball. Soper again, pops it up to his hooker James Clark. Oh, very nearly through, and here goes Boyd again, looking for try number 2. Wasn't held, down and up again, knows the laws of the game. Quick balls needed, referee's got the hand out for a penalty to Ince. That's well away, if they move this. Oh, that was a try that was there for the taking, still may well be there for the taking. Referee hasn't blown. I thought there might have been a knock forward. Campbell surely came in from the side, and they're going to go back to the original offence, which is a penalty by Campbell. Better start of the second half by Ince.
Brilliant play by Ince, Jim. What they're doing is they're getting we can see as we watch, this Campbell team looks quite tired, whether it's the emotional energy, whether it's that first half. They're getting caught really tight. Ince are using the second wave attack, balls pulled back, decoy runners, and they're getting space around the edges. They're getting over the gain line. They're getting soft shoulders with overlaps. Big decision now is whether they try and take the points and equal the scoreboard. Oh no, sorry, they're 5 points behind. I was thinking. So this is an opportunity to go to the corner now. And I would imagine they'll try and get their maul, or they'll try and use Jacob Boyd or Bryn Ward as one of their big carriers going at the tail of the line out.
Well, again, Ince took the option of going for the corner and the line out rather than take what looked like a fairly straightforward 3 points. Just the most crucial set piece of the game so far. Jack Parkinson's had a word with his hooker, who throws it long. That's a good take. Now it's back. Oh, well taken by Ward. And he's big and he's strong and he's aggressive, and he's kept the ball in that big paw underneath his right arm and back on the inside. And here go Ince again, and surely they must be over, and they are over. What a surge by Ince. And it was the second row forward, methinks. Daniel Moore who's got it, or it might even been his number 4, Jacob Edwards. One or the other got it.
Yeah, that's
Edwards, I think.
Great try by Ince, Jim. And what incredible hands by Bryn Ward. He had no right to catch that behind him. He takes it one-handed, going at pace. Brilliant. Ince going to the tail of the line. Quite often the 5-metre line, you take the safe option at 2 or 4. They go to the tail, they open up space. Ward gets over the gain line with a great carry. And as they go around the corner, Jacob Edwards manages to get on the end of that. And it's probably what, as the second half started, it's what Ince deserved. They've definitely played with plenty of ambition. They've stretched this Campbell defence, and it's a great carry and a brilliant latch by Daniel Moore on his second row partner to drive Edwards over the line. And you can just see how excited they are about it, and they're just need to keep putting on Campbell under pressure.
Well, Eagles from with 30 cup points to date. And that's the 2 most precious so far. And that, for the first time in this game, puts Ince into the lead. It's now Campbell 10, and with 8 minutes gone in the second half, Ince 12.
And it's definitely what they deserve. And Jim, we talked about in the first half, if Ince could clean up their discipline, then they have a very good chance in this game. Campbell are just trying to beat them up physically. They're going one-off runners. They're not really using their backs very much, and Ince are just sucking it up. They're making their tackles. And as I said, if they can prevent Campbell from finding territory through their discipline, then they've definitely got a great chance.
Well taken by Callum Sims, Ince blindside flanker. Soper in quickly. It looked like a collar-high tackle, but Fraser Cunningham has made a decent bit of ground for Ince. Trying to set it up for Soper, and in goes his hooker, James Clark, to add another layer to that thing called a caterpillar. He's given that plenty of height, not a lot of distance, though. Oh, that was a great chance there, but spilled forward by Ince. And Campbell have managed to work it out wide, and they'll come back for the knock forward, or perhaps the forward pass, and the referee will give the scrummage, and he's give the scrummage to Campbell.
Yeah, well played by Ince. They're not rushing things. They've been really well controlled at the base by Callum Soper. He's not panicking. He's building his caterpillar to protect themselves, because Campbell are trying to put his box kicking under big pressure. But then just a little bit of a knock on as the ball was there available. But Ince are really in control of this game, Jim. If they can just put Campbell under a bit of pressure here, Campbell need to try and find something else. They can't continue just to try and be direct. They need to try and put a backs play on, try and get Lucas Kenny into a bit of space.
Ince have got the boy who's an upper six, the fairly hefty Zach Molyneux on at loose head, in the place of the 5th former Blake McLean, who played the first half against the Campbell skipper Flynn Longstaff. Good squeeze by Ince at the scrum. Campbell under a lot of pressure there, but well away by Campbell. Lucas Kenny been kept fairly well shackled all afternoon so far. Campbell's ball slow coming back. Robinson has to kick. Well covered by Ince. Josh Gibson going to have a go himself. Needs a little bit of help, and he's got it. Penalty against Campbell, who are now starting to commit the odd little error here and there.
Yeah, that was very fortunate for Ince. Joshua Gibson, I thought, could have probably taken a mark, slowed it down, got his players behind him, went for the counter-attack, could isolate a little bit. Campbell just a little bit unfortunate, they went off their feet, giving RBAI the opportunity through Josh Eccleston just to try and drive this down the line. Again, Ince, they're playing all the good rugby. Campbell, unfortunately, couldn't quite get away there through their backs, but Ince are controlling this game well, and I would imagine they're just going to continue to try and play their way down the pitch and put Campbell under a bit of pressure.
Back inside the Campbell half, albeit by 5 metres. Haven't seen anybody have to dry the ball yet, so it can't be that slippery. Campbell tried to disrupt, but Ince managed to pick it up. That's nicely done. Ooh, half little break there across and into the Campbell half by Ince. Soper. Molyneux, this huge replacement loose head prop for Ince. And Campbell give away another penalty at the breakdown, infringing, trying to turn it over, and chance for Ince to go to the corner, Ian, you would think.
Yeah, I would imagine so, Jim, depending how strong, if there is a breeze, which way it's going, whether they try and find 3 points, but they're doing well from their line out. That was a little bit scrappy, but well cleaned up by James Clark. And I think Campbell have really started to, they've lost the swing of the momentum with the referee in terms of decisions at breakdown. They just need to step off, stop competing these conditions, put some big hits in, look to try and get RBAI to spill the ball that way, put them under pressure through multi-phase. But at the minute they're getting RBAI one or two phases, then giving away a penalty, which is giving them too easy access and throwing 22.
Just about 12 minutes played in the second half. It's an inch line out midway between the Campbell 22 and their try line. Clark with the throw. That's pinched, I think, by Campbell, who just knocked it forward, and Ince will get the scrummage. They'll be a lot happier about that. They probably would have preferred the scrum in the first place.
Yeah, Campbell, very unfortunate, got up in front of the Ince pod, got their hands to it, but couldn't quite hold on to it. So again, just going set piece to set piece, which in the second half of a Schools Cup final, when you're losing, the clock just runs away from you. Obviously 35 minutes each, we've got just over 20 minutes left. Ince are just going to be trying to milk this down. They're going to try and, we see they've got Bryn Ward in midfield again. He was used to carry earlier. Will he be the decoy this time? 10 out the back with a blind winger in behind him, or is he just going to be used to try and get over the gain line?
Ward standing in the 22, hands on hips. I think they may well use him. Here goes Rums. No, they've missed him out. Back in field, and here go Ince again. Held up 5 or 6 meters away. It's a great chance to put a few more points on the board. And again, a good Campbell defence and a Campbell pair of hands in there. And the ball has gone wide. That must be a try. Over in the corner by Ince. What a finish. So nicely done.
That is brilliant play by Ince, Jim. They used that strike play. They've used Bryn Ward as a decoy. They got over the gain line, got round the corner. And then all day, Josh Eagleson has been brilliant at identifying where the space has been. When it needs to be carried up in the middle, he calls for it now. It was a good carry over the gain line by Daniel Moore. And then we just see him, he's calling super for the ball. Inch forwards, get out of the way, and he looks up, doesn't panic, and throws a lovely skip pass out to his winger Alex Place, who does well to finish in the corner. But great play again by Josh Eagleson. He's identifying the space where it is, and Ince are just finding plenty of yards out in those outside channels.
Yeah, great initial drive by big Alex Moore, but the two passes were crisp and accurate, and Alex Place took it nicely, and in for his 8th try of the season and a second in this Schools Cup competition. And that gives Ince now a 7-point cushion with a conversion to come. Eagleson didn't quite, as somebody suggested, get in the hole or across the bar. So 2 points of begging there, but Ince will be feeling reasonably comfortable. And now it's a question of Campbell's character coming through. They have to pick it up again, Ian.
They are, and unfortunately the 2 missed conversions, it means it's still within a converted try. But for Ince, they just need to keep doing what they're doing, Jim. Don't get nervous, don't try and do anything fancy. Just keep playing territory and putting Campbell under big pressure.
Here goes Bryn Ward with that dip and that characteristic handoff that his dad employed so well, both for Ulster and for Ireland. And the Ince support getting it slightly more vociferous, as you probably expect. Back now to Callum Soper, whose dad Daniel was in charge for Ince, did 3 in a row back in the mid-teens of this new century. Campbell not by any means done, I have a feeling. They come straight back, pretty sure. Robinson gets it away out to his number 8, Joe Jeffrey. The Ince first up tackling has been outstanding. Here comes Ray. James McConnell missing his pal Matthew Booth, who's off the field. Robinson gets it away. Now it's Ray looking for a bit of space and finds a bit of space, and that might just be allowed to go, and that's going to be dotted down, and that's going to be a goal line dropout.
Yeah, not a bad option. I think he was looking for a 50-22 perhaps there. It was an opportunity, and just the way the ball bounced, it kicked in field, and really nice composure by Joshua Gibson, not to feel panic of the chasing winger. Let it run over the line, let a few more seconds run off the clock, get Ince well organised. Ince defence, Jim's so good. They can just go set piece to set piece, knowing that Campbell are really struggling to put them under any pressure.
Boys, everyone behind the kicker.
Campbell's number 6, we just saw his
Make sure your team's on
blindside flanker Cal McKinney, whose dad Billy played in a very good Campbell side that won the Schools Cup way back in 1980, and his grandpa, also called Billy, played in a Campbell Schools Cup winning team way back in 1955. So hoping to be the 3rd generation of the McKinneys to win a Schools Cup, and at the moment he's got a bit of work to do, but that could all change. That's good work by the Other back row forward for Campbell, Jeffrey. That's much better now by Campbell. A wee bit more composure being shown. That's captain on captain. Boyd tackling Longstaff. Loose head prop for Campbell, Chris Massey, who's been on from the start, up to the 22. Don't think the big fella Alexander Brennan was quite ready for that, but he made the best of it. Robinson in there as well. Massey, Longstaff, the captain, up to and across the 22. Here they come again, Campbell. Harkin takes it into Ince 22. Trying to create a wee bit of space. Good defence once again by Ince. Joining in there was James Clark, the hooker. Boyd busies himself. Referee's got the hand out, but he's playing advantage to Ince, and away they go. Now, can they take advantage? And that's really good work by Flynn Morrow out the far side. Referees said advantage is over to Ince.
Over. Away, Black. Stop in front, 5.
Silver back to Eagleson. That's well taken by Lucas Kenny. Robinson. Cameron Faith, Campbell's open side. Jeffrey almost up to the 10-meter line. Robinson again. Here come Campbell yet again. One more try. Robinson. That's maybe been slightly overcooked. It was bounced awkwardly for Ince. And the slip well taken. But Campbell there, not quite in numbers, but the ball is back on the inside. Referee seems to be happy with that. Boomer, the replacement, number 22 in the middle of all that for Campbell. Ince will probably take their time and just set this up and wait for somebody to get into position to clear it. Josh Gibson moving backwards, albeit slowly. That's half charged down. That's Campbell's ball. There is a chance now. Well taken by Henry Ralston. Campbell move it wide. Here's Kenny. Thought about going himself. Jeffrey gets up to the 22. Has that gone forward? Not so, says the referee. Well taken by Jake Daly on the far side. All the pressure now coming from Campbell. Time still on inside, and that's been spilled forward, and Ilse will get the scrum, and they'll be very grateful to get the scrum, I'm feeling, Ian.
Yeah, they will, Jim. There'll be plenty of tired bodies after that phase of play. Campbell have just been battering the line. They started playing a little bit more tip on, a little bit more, with a bit more width and putting that Ince defence under pressure. But the really impressive thing about this Ince defence, Jim, and I don't know whether it's intentional or whether it's just how it's falling out, they're not committing to rucks. If you watch, the only people that appear to be allowed to go in for a poach seem to be Bryn Ward and Jacob Boyd. Everybody else is just filling the field, and Campbell are constantly looking up to underlaps. They're not having any opportunity to try and find space out wide, so they're having to stay in their pick and go. They're having to stay at the one-out runners, and they're just not able to find any space. And everybody to a man in this Ince team are making their tackles really well. Mostly they're trying to chop, and that's when there's an immediate identification whether they have an opportunity to poach. If they don't, they're incredibly disciplined about staying in the line, and it's just making it really difficult for the Campbell decision makers as to where to attack.
Campbell have changed their loose head. Chris Massey has gone off. Robbie Holmes has come on, and for Ince there's been a change. Milo Carter wearing number 19 is on. Not the greatest pass in the world, but Ince have managed to get it away, and you can sense there's a strongish wind blowing into the Ince faces, because that clearance kick should have gone a lot farther and was held up by the wind. As you can see, the touch judge's flag on the far side is blowing toward the War Memorial end.
Yeah, definitely, Jim. It's going to continue as we see guys as they look tired. The Ince defenders are going to get tired as they continue to make tackles, get back their feet, work around the corner. So if Campbell can keep accurate, if Campbell can put them through phases, then this Ince defence might tire. But so far they're so well organised and so disciplined this second half. They obviously got a message from their coaches at half-time. They need to clean up their discipline to have a chance of winning this game.
Just about 13 minutes remaining, 7 points between them. 10-5 to Campbell. At the interval, 17-10 to Ince as it stands. Well won by Campbell. The line has been pretty good, and that's a good forward drive by Campbell. Ince will have to dig in. They need a few more men behind the football to stop this drive. And that's good work by Ince, holding the ball up. And right in the middle of it all was, guess who? Bryn Ward, strong man.
Yeah, Jim, we highlighted before the game Jacob Boyd and Bryn Ward, how important they've been in this game, and they've been hugely important. Physical, they've been big in attack, they've been big in defence. Obviously Jacob Boyd scored that first try, Bryn Ward made the carry for the second try, and defensively they were both involved in holding up that maul. So two guys who came in this game with pressure on them to perform have both performed magnificently.
Well, it's Ince possession, but territorially the advantage is to Campbell. Molyneux on the loose head side for Ince has done a good job against Longstaff. Soper gets it away. Adventurous stuff by Ince. That's a terrific drive. And again, and it's Molyneux, the prop. Campbell get the penalty. Now the wind is behind them, so will they be tempted to take the 3 points and hope for another? Well, they need what, 7, 8 points to win this.
Yeah, I think they'll probably go to the corner here, Jim, from where they're at. And that's, we talked about the big names of the RBAI side stepping up. That's a big turnover from Flynn Longstaff. I thought Ince were doing the right thing, taking a couple of phases with that wind, unable to kick into it. But then Flynn Longstaff does so well, locked himself over the ball, and Ince unable to clear him out. And that was a great kick by Matt Ray to put them into the corner.
Spot on by Matt Ray. Couldn't have gone any closer, given that you have to go 5 meters from the line. Campbell's second row forward from last year, Alexander Brennan, calling all the shots. There's been a little word to this hooker, Jed Dorn. Is it going to be Brennan himself? Standing at 2 in the lineup, wearing number 4. Oh, they've made a mess of that. That's well taken in by Carter, the Ince replacement. And the ball was knocked forward by Campbell, and the referee playing advantage to Ince. And the advantage is over, and that's not a great clearance kick. And here's the last man Ince want to kick it to is Lucas Kenny, and Kenny's getting away. That's not the greatest pass in the world, but it's going to be a try. Yes, it is. Henry Ralston gets in for Campbell's second, and the gap was closed at 2 points with a conversion to come. And my word, do we have a cup final on our hands here?
Yeah, indeed, Jim, and as you said, the wrong person to kick it to. Unfortunately, Eagleson finds Lucas Kenny, who breaks 2 tackles, opens the field up nicely instead of going back down to where the Ince defence is. And then it's a great work. It looked potentially a forward pass, but rubber the green goes with Campbell. Just there, that couldn't quite go to hand, but great pick up and finish. Steps back inside. And it was Henry Ralston, a good finish, and now big kick here for Matt Ray. It's going to be difficult from this side. We can feel the wind up here around us. And it's a massive kick now to see for how the outcome of the game is going to come.
Well, if he gets this, it'll be 17 apiece, and if there's no further scoring, the cup will be shared. He's hit that nicely. What a good strike! Up go the flags. Up go the Campbell College flags. And we have a level game, and it's as if we hadn't even started, but the bodies out there will be tired. It's Campbell 17 and Ince 17 with 15 to go, 10 to go.
Brilliant kick, Jim. That was, he judged that to perfection. He didn't have many more meters in him, and now this kickoff is hugely important. Can Campbell take it cleanly and get into Ince half and use the conditions? But if Ince can get the ball back, then they're going to put Campbell under big pressure.
Well, this is going to put Ince on their mettle. Up goes Carter to make the initial tackle. Back inside the Campbell 22. Lucas Kenny gives it a wallop. Good covering back by the redoubtable Bryn Ward. Little sidestep, gets away from the first, on the second, on the third, on the fourth. Good call to the near side of the field from Jacob Boyd to the scrum half. Here they come again. This is better by Ince. Good work once again by James Hillman. Ball coming back on the inside, and a Campbell hand in the middle of it rather naughtily. Might have been open side flanker Cameron Faith who put his paw in, and this will give Ince a chance to get back down to the Campbell line. Well, one score is going to decide this, Ian.
It is, Jim, and what a carry by Bryn Ward again. Got the Ince over the gain line. Great identification again by Josh Eagleson where the space was, and then just unfortunately for Campbell, Cameron Faith couldn't quite just hold his discipline, went for the ball where he saw it, and that's given Ince now the opportunity. Again, do they go to the maul, or do they try and use the likes of a Bryn Ward in midfield?
Across comes the Ince skipper, Jacob Boyd, to have a word with his hooker. What a double act they've been so far. And off goes the Campbell hooker, Jed Dornan, and number 16, Will Alexander, is coming on for Campbell.
Hey, just step outside, we're just outside the 22.
James Clark, crucial line out. Well taken, not straight. Not straight, he didn't need to do that, and that's given away possession to Campbell, who have the chance now to clear their lines and get back down into his territory. And remember, they have a fairly strong wind behind them. Number 16, as we mentioned, is on Will Alexander.
Yeah, big disappointment there for Ince. Line out just not quite going straight. Opportunity now for Campbell is the decision is how do they try and get out of here. They don't want to give away a penalty, Jim, that will give Josh Eagleson the chance to kick a winning points, but at the same time they need to make sure they're on the front foot where they kick not under pressure. So it's trying to find whether they hit one in midfield once and then they bounce in the blind side with Lucas Kenny again, who they used previously to exit.
Sean Robinson pops it in. Ince get a really good squeeze on. Molyneux's introduction has made a big difference. That's good work by Ince, but Campbell, I think, have managed to retrieve the situation. And there's a chance for them to get the ball away over the 22, so no direct kick into touch, which of course they can do if they wish. Robinson steps inside the 22. Who's underneath that? Ince fullback Josh Gibson, and here he goes. Very nearly gets himself away. That's the Campbell 10-metre line, and a penalty against Ince. Holding on after the tackle.
Yeah, it's a brilliant turnover with Cal McKinney, Jim. Campbell all day have been going for those poaches. Sometimes they've got them, sometimes they haven't. That was clear. It was a good carry by Joshua Gibson. He got over the gain line. Just unfortunately after breaking sort of the first tackle, he got a little bit isolated, and that allowed Cal McKinney to get over the ball. And interestingly, Campbell have gone for the scrum. They obviously have a set piece move that they've had in the locker all week, and that they want to try and launch from this position because it's just inside their own half. Ince have to drop two defenders in the backfield, so they're going to look to try and overload one side, and that's probably going to be Lucas Kenny calls it from the back, and he's going to decide which side he prefers to attack, and they're going to go down that side. For me, at the minute, going right seems to be the option because they could potentially have a 4 or 5-on-2.
This could be very interesting indeed. Ince are fairly evenly spread. 2 men at the back and 4 across the halfway line. Here come Campbell on the narrow side. Kenny comes steaming up, and that's a poor pass, and the ball has gone loose, and through goes Alex Place, one of the Ince try scorers, and they're right on top of Campbell, and they're looking for the penalty here. They haven't got it. Robinson's going to get it away. Longstaff, the skipper, whose grandpa is a former Ince first 15 player, and a very good player he was, a prop forward, Mr. Lord Justice, one Patrick Cochrane.
That was quite unfortunate. Jacob Boyd obviously felt he had a chance to counter a ruck. The ball was very slow. The referee's been very clear all day. Credit to him, and Campbell now get an opportunity to try and kick this to touch, and from the middle of the pitch it's a long way there, so did the right thing. Matt Ray just finding touch now to get the line out and try and launch another set piece.
Did it ever worry if you were taking a kick from the middle of the field and it was windy that you mightn't make it to the touchline?
Absolutely, Jim, and that's why quite often you see guys, they almost go sideways, especially when you're kicking in the wind. Sometimes it's that's when you want your scrum half like a Paul Marshall to come or a Ruan Pino to come and do a quick tap and go to take away that pressure into the wind. But no, good decision there by Matt Ray to not try and get too greedy, not go over too much field position, just to make sure they win the line out.
Ince have made a change at hooker. Ewan Patterson is on for James Clark. Campbell's line out, pinched by Ince at the front. Somebody needs to kill that, and Campbell have killed it, and they've won it. And Ince have nearly won it back, and again Ince get themselves offside, and the referee's given a penalty against Ince, and Campbell, slowly but surely, with just under 10 minutes remaining, are making their way back up deep into Ince territory and toward winning this game. But they've a lot to do, though.
Yeah, they have. The momentum swung back towards Campbell in terms of the referee's decision, especially around the breakdown. They're not making massive gains, but they are slowly working their way up. Every time Ince give a penalty, they're making 15-20 metres. The line-outs have got a little bit scrappy, so if Ince can try and get up and compete here, they have an opportunity to turn it over. But we see Campbell have shortened the numbers, which should make it slightly easier to win, and they've two of the big forwards in midfield potentially to try and carry up in midfield.
Ince have brought centre James Hillman up to the front of the line-out. That's a great steal. That's good work by Callum Sims, the Ince blindside flanker. I think the Ince backs are saying to Josh Eagleson, get it downfield and we'll chase it. Eagleson on his 10-metre line, told to use it by the referee Henry Richmond. Plenty of height anyway. That's all over the place. Back on the inside, well gathered in by the boys in black and yellow. Need to make up their mind what to do with that good aggressive play by Alexander Brennan. Here goes Ward. Haven't given him much room, Campbell. Pick up and drive by the skipper once again, Jacob Boyce, another strong man. The referee has said the initial knock forward was by Ince, and the scrum goes to Campbell.
Yeah, that's the one rule I am a big advocate to get rid of, Jim. That you should. I don't like being allowed to reach over the top and slap the scrum half's hand down. Everybody's talking about how do we make the game more exciting, how do we speed it up. That's just such a negative play. Yes, it's great defence, don't get me wrong, and McCluskey's probably the king of it for Ulster. If he does it in the quarter-final against Leinster, we'll be happy, but that's just one that leads to another unnecessary scrum, and we just want to see more attack in rugby.
8 minutes remaining, 17 apiece. Is this going to be a shared game, the first since 1996? Here come Campbell. That's an intercept by Ince. Couldn't quite get it away, and he spilled it. Well, that was a genuine chance, and Campbell will be mightily relieved that the ball didn't go just quite the way that Ince wanted it. Robinson kicks. It's a good kick. Well taken in by Ince. Kick to the near side of the field. Where is this going to bounce? Bounce into Campbell's hands. Here's the replacement hooker. Well, Alexander makes a bit of ground. Gets up almost to halfway. Robinson's there quickly. This is good stuff by Campbell. Daniel Harkin. Ince told to leave it, and this time they do. Kenny gets through. Here goes Kenny, the man we all thought could change this game. Little chip by Kenny. Well covered back by Ince. This game is still in the balance, but the balance is moving towards the boys in black. Ince take it forward. Got a few tired bodies out there now. Have they found the touch which they need to do? No, they haven't. They found Kenny. Here he goes. Gets away from the first tackle. If you don't hold him, he'll get away from you. And he's done that again. He's moved infield as well. Robinson gets it away nicely to Matt Ray. Here come Campbell. There's a chance. That's not a good pass. Ball was knocked forward into touch. So Ince should get the option, Ian, I think, of the line-out or the scrum.
Yeah, Jim, I think they've definitely got to take the scrum here. The line-outs have been a lottery for both sides. We're seeing, as we do every year, bodies strewn all around the pitch, crumping up. Guys have just given everything, and what a last few minutes we've had. I think the best footwork we've seen all day by the Campbell replacement, Will Alexander, just in front of us. He managed to get the ball from the crossfield kick, lovely sidestep and acceleration, and then Lucas Kenny didn't look like he was just going to win the game, but a great hand in by Joshua Gibson at fullback. When he made the break, he stopped the kick through, and Ince were able to recover again, and Ince scramble defence has been fantastic today. And with 2 minutes to go, Jim, on our stadium clock, 2 minutes to go, it's all about, can anybody get one more chance? We thought we were going to see an intercept. We then saw a great line break. We thought somebody's going to go out there and win it. Campbell then had a bit of an overlap towards the end, just a little bit of a loose pass, unfortunately, went over Jake Daly's head. So Ince are going to hopefully, for their sake, go for a scrum with the line out being so messy. And then it's just whether or not they decide they want to have one more crack or what they're going to do. But dramatic 2 minutes to finish off.
Well, it's been 63 years since these two sides drew a Schools Cup final. That was the way back in 1960 when, as we mentioned, John Birch from Ince and Robin Hogg from Campbell were the sharing captains. And this is only going to be the ninth time an Ulster Schools Cup final has been shared. If indeed that is the situation, both sides will want to have their own say about that. Clock starts again. Under 2 minutes remaining of the normal 70. Callum Soper. Good in scrum. Soper gets it away. Here comes Ward. Can Ince rely on him to pull them out of this fire? Great chance if Ince can move this. Here goes Hillman. Almost up to halfway. Soper, a little bit more urgency about Ince. Boyd did really well to take it from behind his shoulder and straighten. Soper again. That looked forward. Referee is letting play go on.
Lost forward.
Spilled forward by the Ince scrum half, Callum Soper, and it's a scrum to Campbell, and we have 30 seconds remaining. And Ian, would your money be in a draw?
Yeah, Jim, it's going to look like it, isn't it? I think Campbell should set up the same as they did that last scrum. We had in the exact same position. They played the right play. They were just inaccurate in what they did. If they can do one more go at that, we're going to then see the opportunity for Lucas Kenny to get down this blind side, or the side close to us, on a 3-on-1 potentially. So Campbell, if they have the confidence, if they can get that set piece right, they've got an opportunity now to really attack using that same set play. Ince, that last chance, that was their last chance. A great carry by Bryn Ward, and then a really, really good miss-out pass by Eagleson that just gave the opportunity to James Hillman. Ince got over the gain line, but Campbell scrambled really well, managed to put them under pressure. Unfortunately, Ince just fumbled the ball there in that last carry. So one more big chance for Campbell. Hopefully they go with the same setup, Jim, and we see an opportunity to come right again through Lucas Kenny if Ince defend the same way.
Lucas Kenny was having a word with his inside backs, particularly his half backs, as to exactly what he wanted to do. Sean Longstaff will be, or not Sean Longstaff, Flynn Longstaff will be urging his forwards to make sure that they get clean possession from this scrummage. There's somebody down there. I think it's the old cramp yet again. At least I hope that's all it is. It has been a terrifically hard fought and very exciting and thoroughly enjoyable schools final in.
It has, Jim, and I think every year we come here, we seem to say the same thing, and it's the levels of ambition, the levels of execution. They seem to be improving every year. Craig Gilroy said about it at half-time with Bodge and Gav that these guys are almost professional. You look at the size of some of these players and they're ready to step up into senior rugby, whether club rugby, whether Ulster A, or even to try and push on to be involved with senior Ulster. It's due to good coaching, due to good S&C, but the ability to find space, the ability to try and play the offloads. It's not just the days of let's give it your biggest ball carrier and see what he can do. Like the likes of Bryn Ward, he's given his offloads. Jacob Boyd, he's given offloads. Lucas Kenny's getting the ball out the back door as he breaks a one-on-one tackle. The Campbell defence has been excellent in their body positions for their jackals. The identification of where they're underlaps and they haven't committed to the rucks, they've been excellent today. Well,
he didn't quite spring up onto his feet, but the Ince replacement, loose head prop, Zach Molyneux, seems to be a lot better than we thought, and he's going off, and the man he replaced at half-time, Blake McLean, is coming back on, and whether or not these young men go on and play representative rugby for Ulster or for Ireland or whoever, you'd like to think that this will not be their last game of rugby, as sometimes is the case. If they get to the Schools Cup final, that's as far as they want to go, and they don't play again, even social rugby. And the game needs young men from this generation and previous generations to go on and just keep playing the game of rugby, even just for the crack.
Yeah, definitely, and club rugby definitely needs more numbers, and go out and enjoy them, because this is a great experience.
Oh, Kenny in the narrow side, and here he goes, gets the ball away one-handed. There's a half chance here now for Campbell. Jake Daly on the Campbell left wing. We have played the 70 minutes. Campbell back into the Ince half. Would you put your money in Campbell? That's a good tick on by the Campbell replacement front row forward. In goes Robinson. Ray gets it away to Kenny, who all of a sudden has become a huge factor in this game. Into the Ince half. There's still a long way to go to the Ince goal line. A penalty would do them. Alexander gets their way. Ray taken on by the captain, Longstaff. What a game he's put in, having played number 8 last year. Ball has gone loose, pinched by Ince. They're not going to settle for a draw, I'm sure. Calling for it on both sides. Here goes Boyd. Ferocious handoff by the Ince skipper, Jacob Boyd. That's the halfway line. they're not going to risk kicking this one in case of giving possession away. Well away by Ince. Little flat pass. Ward again. Campbell holding on to him. Penalty to Ince. Chance to go to the corner. Wow.
Yeah, I think slightly too far to try and even have a pot goal. I think it would be, especially the way they just need to go to the corner. They need to go into the corner as far as they can, go through the phase again, and then if they can win a penalty, Jim, that's when you look at Josh Eagleson and see if he can have a crack at post. But from here, I think he's wasting his time. Go to the corner, get them all going and see where they can go from that.
10's coming off there, 21's going on. Okay.
Campbell have lost a man.
Okay, time on.
I think it might just be outside half Matt Ray, not entirely sure. Eagleson with a very decent kick, not into the corner but pretty close, well, midway between the Campbell 10-metre line and 22 far side of the field. It is an RBAI throw, and this is one of the most important set pieces of the game. The outcome of this could well determine who takes the cup home, or whether it's going to be at East Belfast for 6 months and Central Belfast for 6 months, which has been the norm. Big throw this for young Ewan Patterson. Oh, stolen by Campbell. Now what can they do? Longstaff. Now they get it away. Wee chance of Campbell go wide. Good defending by Ince, which has been ferocious all the way through. Back in the Campbell side. They're still too close to their own line though.
No hands, no.
Cal McKinney and Joe Jeffrey right in the middle of all of that. Ferocious Ince tackling. Milo Carter right in the middle. Back in the Campbell side. Now they've got to keep this in hand. James McConnell got himself caught by a couple of Ince players. Ball back in Campbell's side. Where can they go from here? Still inside the 22. Robinson, is he going to kick? Well, that's a surprise. Josh Gibson gathers, needs a little bit of help. Gibson goes forward. Good work by Gibson, and he's still going. Super. Better by Ince. Hillman tries to slip under the Campbellian tackle. Still there for Ince. Hint of an overlap if they can get it away. Head down, Fraser Cunningham. Super yet again. Nicely done by Ince. If they keep the ball, you never know what might happen. Boyd up to the 22. Great work by the captain. Ince will be praying that Henry Richmond might give them a penalty. Still there for Ince. Half an overlap here, well away. Good work by Flynn Morrow. Super again. Here goes Ward. Well, if anybody can do it for Ince, he can. And he's right up into Campbell's 22. Here goes Boyd, the captain. Boyd, oh my word, he scored the winning try for RBAI in the very last minutes of this game. And he hurtled forward like a runaway tank and dotted it down. And that will go down in Schools Cup final annals and the annals of RBAI. What a finish, what a try. And who else better to do it than the skipper, Jacob Boyd.
What a try, Jim. It came from initially the counter-attack by Joshua Gibson through multi-phases, looking after the ball so well. And then huge carry. Jacob Boyd, huge influential game. What a try to finish it off. Bryn Ward, numerous carries. Looked like he was isolated a couple of times, broke tackles. And 4th minute of injury time. What a way to win it in front of your home, in front of your own school fans, Jim. What a performance by RBAI. Their defence won them the game, and then a couple of big interventions by Jacob Boyd, by Bryn Ward, and great game management by Josh Eagleson.
But look at the way he ran. His angle of running was perfect. His timing was absolutely perfect. The handoff was ferocious. The finish was fantastic.
And as I said 5 minutes ago, it's not just the big guys running over small guys. It's the lines they hit. It's the angles they take. It's the tip ones. That is just great play by RBAI today, and probably deserved the win tonight.
Well, his dad was a pretty decent prop forward, Clem, but with all due respect, Clem, he could never run like that.
Yeah, RBAI is going to be delighted. We just see how devastated the Campbell players are to have lost in the 4th minute of injury time, to have thought that they had an opportunity a couple minutes before the end, looked like it was going to be a draw. Then they kicked it away, then Ince just counter-attacked, looked after the ball, recycled, and managed then after a couple of huge carries to get over the line.
Well, I've been doing this for a long time, as everybody keeps reminding me, but I've never, ever, ever seen a finish like that.
Yeah, it's a great finish, and I think it's a perfect ending to a very entertaining game. I think both teams tried to play good brand of rugby. I thought the skill level was really high. The referee did well. He let the game play, and both teams deserve credit, but fair play to Ince. They didn't give up, and they went through, and they ended up with a great win to finish off the game.
We're 10-5 down at the interval. Ince came back and we're 17-10 up, and then Campbell responded, and 17 apiece, and then right at the death, Jacob Boyd. Well, what a finish by the Ince captain and tight head prop forward. He will be simply ecstatic. So the cup goes back to College Square East for the first time since 2017, and Ince have won it with a final score of Campbell College 17, RBAI 22. All yours, Gav.
Thanks, Jim. Buzz Pouty, Craig Gilroy. We watched the final try happen right in front of us. Incredible finish. What a second half. What a game.
Oh, listen, to finish that second half with that amount of rugby, like both teams went for broke, you know, and all credit to Ince. Man, that was a great finish.
That was finished like a young Craig Gilroy, that try.
Unbelievable. I mean, what a final. If Jacob Boyd could have scripted that himself last night, what was going to happen today, you know, I don't think he could have done much better. Unbelievable line, rampaging run to score for his team to win. Just amazing. And the carries before from Bryn Ward as well, taken after his dad. Unbelievable. What a final.
And what an advert for schools rugby in Ulster.
Well, you know, when you look at that second half in particular, where they start to open it up quite a bit, you have to say that was fantastic rugby from schoolboy rugby. The pressure that was on those guys within that second half was immense, and they just carried it off.
It did change. What do you think changed in the second half?
I'm not sure. I mean, as I was saying at half time, probably once those nerves settle and guys relax a bit more and can play a bit better. It was just amazing from both sides, and if it was to go on, I think it would be here until 9 o'clock this evening, still playing, you know, to win that trophy. So amazing.
Incredible for the Ince boys, an amazing atmosphere. The Ince fans are going crazy behind us, but the Campbell boys are going up. They're gutted. There were tears down here in front of us. That's so difficult for them.
And that's what it means to them. You know, they play their heart out in these finals, and they play for their school and their mates. But the best thing I saw at the end was, you know, Jacob Boyd condoling Flynn Longstaff, which was absolutely fantastic. A great thing to see in schoolboy rugby.
Yeah. Well, let's bring in Jamie Kirk from Ince. Jamie, come on in. It's a bit rough and ready today. Come in and speak to us.
Well done.
Come on in.
Go in there, mate.
All right. Are those tears, or how are you feeling?
It's really hard to put into words, to be honest. Yeah, it's probably hard to hold back the tears. Just Jacob was the first boy that walked over, and I think, you know, credit to Campbell. It was an outstanding game and a real showcase for schools rugby. But to see those boys walking over and what it means to them, it's so hard to put into words.
What a finish from a tight head prop.
Oh, I mean, you could give Clem a bit of abuse that maybe Clem wasn't that fast, but
he wasn't.
No, like Jacob's got it all. He's got a really bright future ahead of him, and you know, there are a couple of players on the pitch today, Bryn Ward, Lucas Kenny, who I think Ulster Rugby will be really excited about. So
that final phase of play, how much did that make you feel proud the way they played?
Oh, immensely. Like they, you know, the whole season, the whole cup campaign, they've shown, you know, the utmost belief in each other. And at half time we just said, boys, you've got to stick in there, and you could see it in their eyes. They were really, you know, they did believe it. So.
And what about a word for those Campbell lads who are devastated?
Oh, I'm sure they are, but look, it's probably difficult to take now, but it was one of those games, could go either way, and there's a real credit to Campbell. I thought they were excellent and, you know, really well drilled. So.
What about these young Ince boys here in the stands? They made an awful lot of noise in our ears the whole way through this afternoon. How will they be feeling watching that? It's great to see.
Oh, flip me. It's a bit like Jacob watching Michael Lowry, James Hume when he was in year 8. You know, the inspiration that the boys have given the school, and the unity that's felt across the school at the minute is just outstanding, and I think for me it's a point of difference in the school.
It's been a long wait for a school with so much history.
Certainly, maybe more so for others, but I think coming back from COVID, it feels like a different era, and they've done really well.
Well, let's get to the moment of truth. We'll rejoin Jim Neely.
Well, the runners-up medals to the gallant Campbell College side, presented by Vicky Davis, the Chief Executive Officer of the Danske Bank UK, and the man who was named Man of the Match, the skipper, Jacob Boyd, will come up and will introduce his team as they get their winners' medals before the cup is presented to him by Barbara Gregg, the wife of Philip Gregg, the president of the Ulster branch of the IRFU. There's a few wee Jacob Boyd just introducing all his players. I'm surprised he can even remember his names. He must be exhausted. He must be completely delighted with himself, and what a fabulous charge he led right at the end to cross the Campbell line. It was a Campbell line that he probably thought they wouldn't cross again, but they found the wherewithal, and more importantly, they kept the ball, they kept their composure, they kept possession, and when it mattered most, they found a way to win. And that really is what the Ulster Schools Rugby Cup final is all about. You can hear it in the voice of Jacob Boyd, who is absolutely exhausted, and the entire squad are going to be introduced to Vicky Davis and get their medals from her. As we said, the Chief Executive Officer of Danske Bank UK, a very generous sponsors of this wonderful competition, which goes all the way back to 1876. And the first year, the boys in black and yellow lost that one to Armagh Royal, and it was quite some time before they won the first win. It was 1888, and their last one was here in 2017. That was the third in a row, captained by Michael Lowry and featuring also James Hume, who went on to play for Ireland. And here is the cup going to be held aloft once again by the captain of RBAI, the 33rd outright win for the Royal Belfast Academical Institution. And my word, right at the end, how close it was. Commiserations to the gallant Campbell side, but the applause and the accolades and everything is going to go back to College Square in the middle of Belfast. Holding the cup up to supporters in the stand, and they turn it round and hold it up so everybody else can see it. The black and yellow dominant once again, but my word, the boys in black made it very difficult for them, and it could have gone either way right up until the very end, when that careering, pulse-quickening try by Jacob Boyd sealed the win. What a happy bunch of Ince boys they are.
Well, hopefully we'll speak to Jacob Boyd in a moment. Budge Pouty.